What it is, what it was, what it could be, y'all. Welcome back to Disc Golf Justice. Discraft sent me the Ken Climo disc, and I figured why not compare these discs to the discs that I bag right now that are in these guys' slots. I don't know if that made sense. That was a lot of words. I'm going to be comparing the Ken Climo Champ putter, which for hand feel wise, this feels like it wants to be the plastic type. It feels like it wants to be putted, not necessarily thrown. It kind of feels like the Prodigy 350G plastic. I used to use the PA3 and the 350G plastic, and it feels very, I know I have gloves on, but I've been feeling these for a while. It feels very stiff, and it feels like it wants to be putted, not necessarily thrown, but I am gonna throw it. And I'm gonna be comparing it to the disc that I bag in that slot, which is the DiscCraft Jawbreaker Challenger, which the numbers say this is a little bit more stable, but I've beaten this in quite a bit. So this flies dead straight, which is what the numbers say the Champ is supposed to fly like. So for the mid-range is the Bel-air. I love this color, the pink, bright pink, really loving that. I'm gonna be comparing that to my MVP Prism Plasma Pyro. This thing is beat in a little bit, so it's not as stable as it used to be when you first get one, but it's still quite a stable disc, and the numbers match up quite well to the Bel-air, which I think is 5402, and the Pyro being 5402.5, and with it being beat in, they should fly very, very, very similar. And for the distance driver, I got a lot of disc in my hands, which is the Skyway. I'm going to be comparing it to my handy dandy Photon, my go-to. I will say the mid-range and the distance driver, if I had to put a plastic they kind of feel similar to, I used to have a Clash Disc Wild Honey, and I feel like they kind of feel similar to that. They don't necessarily feel, they definitely don't feel like ESP. They don't feel like anything from Discraft, but they do kind of feel like that, whatever Clash Disc was using, that Wild Honey, it feels kind of similar to that. The Skyway feels fantastic in the hand, I will say. I love the Photon. I don't see this beating the Photon. Even if it beat it on the course, I just know this disc and love this disc so well, it would be hard for any disc to beat it out. So I'm just at my local 9-hole course here, and we're gonna throw, like if it's a putter shot off the tee, I'll throw both putters. If it's a mid, you guys get it. So hole 1, 280 feet. We're gonna give these putters a rip. We do got a headwind. We got a bit of a wind going on today, so just a little heads up, and it's straight headwind. Oh, that's gonna be turned over, yep. Yes, the headwind. We got a headwind today. First throw with the Champ. Nice and glidey. Came up a little bit short, but that held straight in that headwind, whereas the Challenger did turn over. So we are gonna be playing best shot with these. The Champ got a better look. If I'm being honest, not that it hasn't been a good flyer. I threw these low to try to stay out of the wind, but I could see myself putting with this. Not necessarily throwing, but I could definitely see myself putting with this because I've been watching a lot of swanky disc golf videos about what most of the pros bag, and they said for putters, most of pros are using a 2301 or 2302 or something like that, which is what this is. So thinking I might switch to these for actually putting. I don't know, we'll see. Okay. Hole 2, we got 270. I reckon I'm gonna try, we got a left to right wind now. I think I'm gonna try throwing both of these on forehand. I imagine, I don't really forehand this Photon very much. It's kind of a little bit flippy because it's been very much beaten in. So I imagine this is gonna be a lot more stable in this, but we shall see. We'll see how torque resistant it is for the forehand. Start with the Photon. Yeah, see how that just turned over? I don't forehand that disc very often because I needed to do more hyzer, and I'm not very good at throwing hyzer on forehands, I'll be honest with you. I usually just throw an overstable disc. All right, this is the Skyway, first throw, down there. Yeah, it's gonna be more stable, but it did still turn over. And I even threw that nose up. Left to right wind too, so that, in theory, that should have pushed both of these discs more this way, so. And they were fairly clean releases, not the cleanest, but those are pretty clean releases. Well, not only did the Skyway outdrive my Photon, but it's actually in a little bit better position because the Photon turned over a little bit more. Like I said, if I were to use these discs for forehand, which you definitely could, they would be more for a straight or turnover type of shot. They wouldn't be for something where I'm trying to throw a big hyzer. I'd use something more overstable. So I don't blame these being out of position on the disc at all. They're just not the right disc for this shot. Good drop. That could have got away from me. I think I might legitimately switch to these for my putting. Almost missed that. For my putting putter, just because I like the feel of this plastic. Like, it really reminds me of the Prodigy 350G, and when I used to putt with PA3s, them being beaded as well, like, everyone knows those are really, really money putters. Hole 3, we got 312 feet. Definitely outside of the range for what I would throw these mid-ranges on, but to be honest, there's not a lot of mid-range holes on this course, so I'd like to give these a toss at some point. So we're gonna come up short, just keep that in mind. We'll start with my pyro. Oh, way too low. We got a big left to right wind coming too, so we'll see how much this pushes back into it. I threw that on a touch of hyzer. It popped up, turned over a little bit. I also threw that a little bit low, but that's definitely more understable than my pyro was. Bel-air ended up going about, I'd say about 4 yards further and about 5 yards more to the right because it turned over a bit more. Definitely seems more understable than the pyro. A fella could make the case where you could bag both. Let's give this a... Hole 4, 487 foot par 4. Not a very good wind for these, particularly my Photon, big left to right, but we're gonna see if we can get down there. I hate the tee pad for this hole. It's all janky. Come back, yep. It's down there. They're coming up kind of low. That one I didn't necessarily mean to make go low. All right, Skyway, second rip. Oh, that was a nice bite. It comes back, yep. That fought back even with the big left. It's actually, now it's kind of a tail. It's swirly out here. It's swirly. The Skyway once again outdrove my Photon, but to be fair, it got a bit better of a release from me, a little bit more height, which I was trying to do with the Photon. So then it still went about 10-ish yards further. And this is probably, honestly, it's close to one of the furthest shots I've had on this hole. The winds don't always work in your favor on this hole, though. That's kind of the problem. Fade. Oh, just kind of dropped. The tail, I think it's the wind dropping everything, because even the putt, just everything seems to be falling out of the dang sky. Hole 5, 366 foot par 3. I normally throw on the other side of the steep pad. I'm gonna go on this side, I think, because we got a big headwind. So I think I'm gonna try to do a big turnover down there. That's really my only play. That or a forehand, but I don't think I can forehand these 366. We'll give the Skyway the box. Well, that definitely turned over. Interesting. Okay. It is a fairly serious headwind going on. And I think the Skyway is more stable than my Photon, so I'm gonna try to throw this better, I guess. I threw that 2-nose up. It's gonna stall out and come on back. Well, fun fact, the Climo discs have actually won on every single hole so far, even the bad shots. So this is a terrible win for this. I need to flick a zone up there is what I need to do. Can I forehand this? Oh, this is such a bad idea. Okay, this doesn't count. I'm gonna try to forehand this. Wow. So forehand form isn't there yet. All right, let's flick a zone down there. Fade. So I put a little pace on that one. I suck with my own disc. To be fair, this isn't even my putting putter. I do use it sometimes though. Hole 6, 315 foot par 3 dead straight. We got a big tailwind now, and this is not gonna be a birdie attempt. I'm gonna try to forehand these down there because there's not a lot of forehand, holes on this course, and I would like to see, especially these mid ranges, because I forehand my pyro more often than than you'd think. So I'd like to see how this Bel-air holds up to a forehand too. These are gonna come up short. Hopefully the tailwind helps us out a little bit. I'll try to flex them down there. We'll start with the Pyro. Okay, that didn't even get, it's not even get close to there. The Pyro is just, it really is stable, especially with this tailwind. It really is a stable disc. For the Bel-air. Put that on a little too much. Dang it. I'm gonna give the Bel-air a redo. And because I know it's less stable, I'm gonna throw it more flat than Annie. Still kind of popped up. It did get a little flutters on that, but it is more understable. I have heard that pink discs are more understable. I wonder if there's any truth to that. Comment down below, are pink discs more understable? I want to know because I bag a lot of pink discs. It's my favorite color of disc. And I keep finding discs that aren't supposed to be stable or aren't supposed to be flippy or flippy. My disc finally won a hole for once. I think at least for the pink Bel-air that I have, a fella could make the case that you could bag both the Pyro and that one, because that one, it's definitely more stable than my Buzz. So it could be more like if it's a windy day, you got a headwind, you're straight flyer then, because the Pyro, even in a headwind, is still gonna fade on you. Hole 7, a 327-foot par 3, and we just got unfavorable winds today. Another headwind. It is at least kind of a right to left, so I might try to go around along big hyzer on these, and hopefully the wind catches that flat plane and pushes it off to the right. We'll start with my Photon. Oh, that wind. I shouldn't have threw it so high. Oh, it's gonna fade. Where's that gonna go? This one is a little bit more stable, so maybe we can do that same thing, but just a bit lower. That was a good shot. I just needed a bit lower. Would have been good. I think that was identical. Still too high. Oh, no. That actually had to be pretty close to going in. Let's go have a look-see. So the Skyway is closer to the basket, but my Photon has a better look, but we're playing kind of CTP-ish. To be honest, in this wind, I wouldn't be able to birdie that from there anyway. So we're just gonna take this because it's close. I actually almost, did I set that up so you guys can see the basket? Hole 8, we got 317-foot par 3, big old right to left, so I think we're gonna have to throw forehands. I just feel too scared to throw these on backhand with that right to left. Plus, this is way too much disc for 317 feet. We'll go Photon first. Wow, stabled up, actually. We'll give the Skyway a toss. The wind seems to have picked up a little bit, so I don't know how this is gonna go. Stay tuned, here we go. Oh, actually went long. That went long. That scared me for a second because I didn't see that those two cars were coming, and it turned over and was headed straight for them on a laser beam, but did have enough stability to fight back and skipped a little bit long actually. Well, the Skyway ended up being CTP and well outdrove my Photon again, but it was in like the middle of that little long grass stuff over there, which I don't think is actually OB, but I'm not putting out of that. There's no need. There's water and stuff in there a little bit. It's wet. I'm gonna take the Photon, continue trying to putt with these champs. I like how they feel. Everything's just dropping today. I did throw that a bit nose up and we got a tailwind, so it probably slapped her down. As you can see, I tried that putt a few more times to no prevail. Hole 8, 308 feet, kind of same shot as that last one with this wind, so I think I'm gonna try to forehand again. Hopefully don't turn it over onto the concrete there, but then after I throw my Photon and the Skyway, I'm just gonna throw the other two Champ Ken Climo discs as well, so you guys can see them one last time. It's not gonna be the greatest wind for them. We got a right to left, and I'm gonna throw them on backhand, but let's wrap this up. Photon had the box, I guess, technically. Headed straight at her, fading. Interesting. I think it's just because I have improved. I don't have a super clean release yet quite yet, but I have definitely improved my release. So I'm not getting as many flutters, and everyone knows flutters make your disc a little bit more understable. So the Photon's actually flying somewhat stable for me on the forehands. Let's try the Bel-air, Skyway, whatever this is called, the Skyway. Put that on more anhyzer actually. That's gonna be crushed. Yep, that went OB long. If there was a car parked right there, if that car that was down there was one car space to the left, I would have hit it. So final thoughts on the Skyway, I would say it's very glidey. I don't think it's a 4 glide rating. Every single time it outdrove my Photon, and my Photon is a big bomber for me. So very interesting how far and effortless that disc goes. Is it gonna make the bag? I don't know. I love my Photons, and I don't necessarily want my 11-speed disc to go crazy far, I guess. I don't know if this is making sense, but it's like that's what I want my 12-speed disc for. When I reach for my 11-speed disc, I only want it to go a certain distance. That's the reason I'm going for my 11-speed rather than grabbing the 12-speed. So the fact that that flies so far, I don't know if it's gonna make the bag. I'll keep playing around with it. I do love the way it feels in the hand. It feels fantastic and very confident in the hand. Now for this mid-range, the Bel-air. First of all, love the color. In comparison to the Pyro, it feels like it has a thinner rim. It doesn't feel quite as thick and full in your hand. Definitely feels more understable. Again, I don't know if that's because this is pink. Let me know down in the comments. Are pink discs more understable? That's something I've been trying to bust for a while now. But this definitely, when I had a headwind, it popped up the flat and drift a little bit, but stayed straight. So it's more understable than the Pyro, but more overstable than like a Buzz. So a fella could make the case to bag both of them. Here, let's give another rip. Mind you, right to left wind. Okay, I put that on anhyzer to try to kind of fight the right to left wind plus 308 feet. I would probably be reaching for a little bit more disc than a mid-range, especially an overstable mid-range. But I don't think I should have put that on anhyzer. That just turned over. So for the putter, here we go. This did seem a little bit more stable. See, I put that on hyzer on accident because I have a natural hyzer release. And we're on the concrete. Let me go grab that before someone runs it over. So Photon easily had CTP. It's pin high a little bit past the basket. The Champ, the putter, is actually dead even. So I threw that on hyzer, pure hyzer, with a right to left wind, 308 feet. So I feel like that disc has got some serious glide to it for it being a 2300. That went, and it also seems more overstable than 2300. I imagine it'll beat in, but interesting, very interesting. It seems more overstable than the number suggests, whereas the mid-range seems more understable than the number suggests. I feel like they should switch those. The Champ should be 2, 3, maybe even a 4, just based off of that last shot. I might throw it one more time on backhand for y'all so I can get a better release. I'd say that's 2302, and the mid-range I would say is 5400, or no, 5401. Yeah, 5401. All right, can we put this in for birdie? Left to right wind. You're joking me. All right, y'all, that is gonna wrap up my review, my round with the Ken Climo prototype disc. I'm not gonna beat a dead horse and go over all the stuff with you again. Pretty much said what I said about the disc. I like them, I think they're great. I like the feel of the plastic. Like I said, feels like Clash Disc Wild Honey plastic. I like the hand feel of the molds. They feel fantastic. I'm a little iffy on the numbers, the flight numbers, but that's every freaking disc, you know what I mean? I am gonna throw this one last time for you at the end here, but if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you give it a big old thumbs up. Let me know down in the comments, would you pick up the Ken Climo disc? Are you interested in picking them up? Let me know down below, and smash the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of my future content. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.